survived 5 days of baseball in Birmingham, Alabama, and we are just down the road at Hoover Metropolitan Stadium as we continue with our coverage of the 2002 SEC Baseball Tournament. Hoover Metropolitan Stadium has seen record crowds come through the turnstiles. Today, no different as Alabama makes it back to the championship game. Fans will turn out in record numbers this afternoon to watch what will be a sensational championship tilt between South Carolina and the Alabama Crimson Tide. And hello again, everybody. I'm Dave Neal. So glad you could join us. What a great atmosphere it has been all week for the SEC Baseball Tournament. And we've got a dynamite final for you coming up between South Carolina, the number 2 ranked team in the country, and the Alabama Crimson Tide, currently ranked number 12. But how did we get here? An amazing story yesterday. First of all, the top 4 seeds moved on to yesterday's action for the first time in the history of this tournament. But it took 4 games yesterday to determine who would play in the championship. Let's go back and show you some of those exciting highlights because South Carolina was in trouble. Up a run in the 9th. LSU had the bases loaded. It looked like a double play. The tying run would score, but Wally Pontiff of LSU stood up when he went into second base. That is a violation. You have to slide. The umpires said it was an automatic double play. The runners had to go back to their respective bases. The next batter would make the 3rd out of the game. Smoke Laval was hot. Well, how about Alabama? Florida. They were down in this one, had the bases loaded. Jeffrey Norris starts a 1-2-3 double play to end the baseball game. An amazing story last night, and Alabama and South Carolina survived to make it here to Sunday's championship game. And joining me is our championship announcer, Larry Conley. And Larry, certainly this is one of the best tournaments in college baseball. We've got 2 of the best teams going in college baseball. The number 2 team, South Carolina, they haven't had many weaknesses all season long, and Drew Meyer has been the guy consistently, day in, day out, that's led this club.
And Dave, you know, all year long as we have followed Southeastern Conference baseball, Drew Meyer has been on our lips almost every weekend. He led this league in stolen bases. He has absolutely churned it up out there on the dirt. He's done it with his glove, but in this tournament, he's done it with his bat. He is 11 for 22, hitting .500, the leading hitter on this South Carolina Gamecock club, and a baseball team that is loaded with offense. They're getting it from the guy who leads off.
Well, for South Carolina, this will be their 6th game since the tournament started on Wednesday. For Alabama, this will be their 5th game. And it's been the seniors for Alabama all year long. It's Scott McClanahan, Jeremy Brown behind the plate, but lately it's been Brent Boyd.
Brent Boyd, the first baseman for Alabama, has had a terrific series, too. In Hoover Metropolitan Stadium, he has driven the ball everywhere on this field. He also is hitting .500 for this tournament on a team that has an awful lot of offense. You know, we talk a lot about offense with these 2 clubs, but there's pretty good pitching, too, on both of these teams.
Yeah, it should be a great matchup. And, Larry, Alabama won this title in 1999. South Carolina has never been to the championship game. The Crimson Tide hit 4 home runs yesterday. Can they continue to swing the hot bats, or will South Carolina be able to shut them down? It's the championship game from Hoover Metropolitan Stadium, and it's all coming your way next. Gamecocks at 48-13, the Crimson Tide at 47-13, and how appropriate these 2 teams battle to the final Sunday of the regular season to determine who would be the SEC regular season champion. Well, South Carolina comes in here as a visiting team. Let's take a look at their offensive lineup. It's been pretty much the same all season long. Drew Meyer will lead off and play shortstop. Steve Thomas will hit in the number 2 hole. Brian Busher, .346 average, 13 homers. Yaron Peters at first base with his 21 homers, his 81 RBIs, best in the Southeastern Conference. Garrett Gauntz in left field. Trey Dyson, your DH today. Justin Harris will hit number 7. Landon Powell behind the plate, and John Kudalengas is the 9th hitter.
And for the Alabama Crimson Tide, they will go with Jeffrey Norris today, who is 4-1, making his 10th start and his 13th appearance of the year. Respectable 3.57 earned run average. And while he's not the 1 or 2 guy off of the mound, he's probably their number 3 pitcher. And today he's going to be asked to go out there, and the lefty's got a chance to win a Southeastern Conference Tournament championship if he can perform. And obviously, you got to look at the defense that's going to be playing behind him. And Brent Boyd will be over first base, the young man we talked about at the beginning of the show. Down at second base, leading hitter on this club, Peter Stonard. Excellent bat and glove. Alan Rice will be over at third base. Adam Pavkovich, 22 errors this year. A little tough with the glove down at shortstop. In left field will be Chad White. And occupying center field will be Scott McClanahan, and he covers it very well out there. And in right field will be Travis Garner. Behind the plate, one of the college baseball's best catchers in Jeremy Brown. And he'll be receiving the pitches from Jeffrey Norris. Young man is a lot of stuff. He'll move the ball around a little bit. Good fastball, got a good curve. He's even in relief a little bit this year and has one save to his credit. Today we're ready to go with the 2002 SEC Championship game in baseball.
Jeffrey Norris threw one pitch last night, got the 1-2-3 double play to end the game against Florida in the elimination game. And gets the ball again today and throws a first pitch strike to Drew Meyer. 11 hits already in the tournament for Drew. 389 hitter overall and South Carolina's all-time single season hit leader. .105 hits this season. That is a lofty number. Versus Alabama this year in their meetings. He's 3 for 14 in the 3-game set that South Carolina won in Columbia 2-1. Alabama won the opening game of that series, and then South Carolina answered back with back-to-back victories. Alabama certainly has a throng of fans that will travel and meet them anywhere, but it's really nice for Alabama fans when they only have to maybe leave their house and drive about 5 miles and get to the ballpark. And there is the first strikeout of the game. And Drew Meyer, a tough out, heads back to the dugout.
Dave, one of the stats that I talked about at the top of the show for Drew Meyer is the fact that he is 11 for 22 in this tournament, but he has also struck out 8 times. He strikes out an awful lot for a leadoff hitter.
Jeffrey Norris doesn't throw with much velocity. If he can get it up in the lower 80s, 83, he's really bringing it. He's a off-speed location guy. I mean, in terms of the way guys throw the ball now in this day and age, it's almost like you don't get a chance if you can't bring it 90 miles an hour. Well, Jeffrey Norris proved to Coach Wells that he can get people out. And I don't want to say he's a junk ball pitcher. He's a location guy. Oh, 0-2 the count to Steve Thomas. Thomas went 3 for 12 against Alabama this year. Another 0-2 count. Stays outside. Ray Tanner, the head coach of the South Carolina baseball team, has taken them to levels they haven't been to in a long, long time, but this is one place they've never been. Ball's hit right back up the middle. Thomas on with a single. Had to wait on that pitch to get over the plate, but Thomas sent it right back up the middle. First hit of the game.
18, third baseman Brian Busher.
Here's Brian Busher, another guy that's had just an outstanding season. The third baseman for South Carolina, hitting .346, 13 home runs, 55 RBIs. That misses downstairs. Busher's current hit streak up to 21 games. Busher's a guy you want at the plate with a runner on. He hits over 400. There's our runner, Steve Thomas, who's 4 of 4 in the stolen base department. Third ball stays inside. Norris been a couple of years away from baseball. Went on a Mormon mission. There's a strike. Also married. I mean, he is he's done quite a bit before he even showed up on the Tuscaloosa campus. That's hit left field. White back to make the catch, shy of the warning track. Out number 2. We've talked about it all week, but I think it bears repeating about the size of this ballpark. It is the biggest ballpark the Southeastern Conference teams will play in all season long. 340 down the lines, 385 in the alleys, 405 to straightaway center, meaning that the outfielders had better get on their horse because there is a lot of ground to cover, and we have seen some spectacular defensive plays in the outfield since this tournament began on Wednesday. Defense at a premium in this park. And here's Yaron Peters, the SEC Player of the Year. Yaron has been bothered by a bad hamstring. Didn't play the first couple of days in this tournament. Returned to the lineup yesterday. Had a big bases loaded 2 RBI single. And laces this into right field. Thomas will hold up at second. And Peters will improve his average with 2 outs, which before that at bat was at 354. So not only can he hit for power and is productive, he's also clutch.
Well, watch him go out, arms extended. He drives the ball right into right center field. South Carolina's got a couple of runners to start the game. Yaron Peters, a really interesting guy to sit down and talk to from Beverly Hills, California area. I just find it kind of fun to visit with guys from California. They have a little different perspective than other people, you know?
Not bad, just different.
Just different.
Garris Gantz. First pitch in the dirt to Garris. Garris, another guy that came in here a little banged up. But when you get to this point, obviously, you need your studs out there, and Gantz and Peters weren't going to sit this one out. Gantz, a 341 hitter with 2 outs. Has a chance with 2 on and 2 down. There's a fly ball, right center. Garner or McClanahan? It'll be Garner. So no runs on 2 hits. The Gamecocks lead 2. We have completed a half inning.
The finest leather boots are at Big Phil's Boots.
In 1971, we started with a small wood preserving plant. It's hard to believe. But our number one goal has always been to be the best. My daddy always said, if you're ripe, you're rotten. If you're green, you're still growing. Great Southern Wood, still growing after 30 years.
Back at Hoover Metropolitan Stadium in Birmingham on a warm afternoon. We move to the bottom of the first inning, and let's take a look at the Alabama offensive lineup, and this is how they will attack South Carolina. Travis Garner had a grand slam yesterday, will lead off. Peter Stoner at second base, hitting .412 to lead this club. Jeremy Brown behind the plate with 11 home runs. Scott McClanahan leads the team with a career-high 14 long balls. Brent Boyd's at first base, hitting .284. Chad White in left field. Zach Welch, your DH today. Adam Pavkovich at shortstop, hitting in the 8-hole, and Alan Rice rounds out the lineup, playing third base.
And on the mound will be Chris Hernandez. He's not as much work as some of the other pitchers for South Carolina this year. You can see only his second start, a 1-0 record, ERA of 2.75. As I said, only 19 2/3 innings so far this year. But Dave, he did have one outstanding outing in Spurman where he pitched into the 9th inning with a no-hitter. Gave it up, but they won anyway, 14-0. Let's take a look at the defense. Gantz in left, Kudlangas in center, Thomas in right. Third to first, Busher, Meyer, Harris, and Peters. Behind the plate, one of the best catchers in all of college baseball, Powell. And, of course, we talked about Chris Hernandez out on the mound. Hernandez with a good curve, likes to pitch ahead, likes to stay ahead. And his teammates out there will constantly remind him they want him to stay in that position.
So Garner will be the first man to bat for Alabama. Garner moved to the leadoff spot in the series finale at LSU and hadn't batted in the leadoff spot since March 13th, so he took a couple of months off but moved into that leadoff spot and has been pretty successful and had that grand slam last night.
Alabama played long ball last night.
Slings the bat. 1-2 the count to Garner. That's why you wear that helmet.
Sometimes it's difficult when you've got a good hard swing to keep control of the bat. Even Ray Tanner. Ray was looking for that bat.
Hernandez down in the dirt. Garner, Alabama's leading hitter versus South Carolina this year in 3 games, hit .533 against the Gamecocks. Alabama is the top of their order. Last night versus Florida hit .421, but they had struggled prior to that in a .173 clip. And here you go, a leadoff walk from Hernandez. And Garner likes to run. He's 20 of 24 over there at first base, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him take off early. However, we're talking about Landon Powell behind the plate, who can throw about anybody out in the Southeastern Conference. Powell's thrown out about 34% of the base runners. Speaking, you to clarify, you said Jeremy Brown was one of the best catchers in the country, and you said Landon Powell one of the best catchers in the country, but you've got a reason for that.
Listen, and the reason is that both of these guys, I think, are 2 of the better catchers, not just in the Southeastern Conference, but in all of college baseball. Consider the fact that Landon Powell has thrown out 34% of the runners that have attempted to steal on him. Jeremy Brown has thrown out 43%. Now, if you're looking for a number to tie that to, respectability is somewhere between 25 and 30%. And these 2 guys, you just got to be very careful when you decide to go to the next base that they're not going to be ready to throw you out.
And one other note about that, Larry, is they have narrowed it down to 10 finalists for the Johnny Bench Award, which goes to the college baseball's best catcher, and Powell and Brown are 2 of the finalists. A strike on the inside half of the plate, 2-1. Stoner versus South Carolina this year, 400 clip. 6-game hitting streak. During the streak, he's 13 of 25, 520 average. Stoner has moved around quite a bit, but due to some adjustments in the lineup by Jim Wells during the course of the season, he is a natural second baseman by trade. He came to Alabama as a second baseman, but they put him in the outfield, but had to move him back to second base. And, well, he's certainly proven that he has a chance at the next level at second base, and he's very happy to be back manning that position. Jim Wells tried a bunch of things. His defense wasn't very good early in the year, and has settled on this lineup that we see today, and it's been good. And there goes the runner. It's a hit and run, and it has worked perfectly. Garner on his way to third. And Stoner with an exceptional job hitting it in the hole as Meyer went to the bag to cover second base.
You can't draw it up or execute it any better than what Peter Stoner just did. Shortstop Meyer heading over to second to cover, and he simply hit the ball in the spot where Meyer had occupied. Nice piece of hitting right there by Peter Stoner.
7-game hit streak now for Peter. So 2 on and nobody out. Here comes a couple of tough outs, and Brown, McClanahan, and Boyd. First pitch, curveball, stays upstairs. Jeremy Brown, the only SEC player to amass 200 career walks and 300 career hits. And he had 4 walks versus Florida yesterday, which tied an Alabama record. Couldn't catch up with the fastball. His career numbers, 338 average. Well, like, you know, you've been in these settings before, playing in big games, and for Hernandez, this is the biggest game he's ever pitched in, no question about that. To get the ball on Sunday in front of this many people, does it have a bearing? Is it an issue to worry about?
Oh, I think so. I mean, anytime you come into a championship game, particularly when you think you're on a neutral field, but you're really not. I mean, you're playing in the state of Alabama, and you've got probably 9,800 Alabama fans in here and 200 South Carolina fans. I mean, it's got to play on you a little bit.
Hernandez down in the count, 3-1. And walks him full. Hernandez has only started one prior game to this, and it came against Furman, and he had a no-hitter through 8 innings. Gave up a hit in the 9th, and Ray Tanner pulled him out after that. But his other appearances, he's been up and down. As a matter of fact, he might have lost his confidence a little bit along the way early in the year. Had a horrible outing against Mississippi State. And came after that game and said he would apologize because he had basically embarrassed himself, embarrassed the university. And when you hear players talk like that, you'd think they might have lost some confidence. So it's taken a while for him to get back. And well, right now they're going to try to see if they can get Hernandez to lock in, which he hadn't done yet. Nobody out, bases loaded.
Yeah, Rocky Evans is in the bullpen for South Carolina already here in the first inning. Right-hander down there getting loose in a hurry. I have to say get warmed up because it's plenty warm here today.
Yeah, by the time you step off the bus, you're loose.
I felt that way when I got off the bus today. My vocal cords were loose.
Ray Tanner in good spirits this afternoon.
So was Jim Wells. It was nice visiting with both those guys before the game today. Trey Dyson, who is the DH for South Carolina, came over and gave me a big pat on the back today and complimented both Dave and me and what we've been able to do for SEC baseball this year. I think he was looking for a little good few words this afternoon, huh?
Yeah, he's the.
You think he's a salesman?
Yeah. Trey Dyson, the DH, we'll see him next inning for South Carolina at the plate. He's a character. This guy's one of the hardest workers in the Southeastern Conference. Plays a tremendous center field, a senior, a leader. Career numbers this year. McClanahan with 14 home runs and 60 RBIs. 3 hits and 8 tries with the bases loaded. Back up the middle. This could be 2. Harris to first. Got him, but the run scores. I think South Carolina very happy to give up the run and get the 2 outs.
Well, Travis Gardner will score the first run of the afternoon. You can see the ground ball right back up the middle. Justin Harris playing second base today. Just simply takes it, steps on the bag, and it's an easy double play. And now they're 2 down with the runner at third.
So here's Brent Boyd, another senior. Talked about Brent in the open. Having a great tournament. 500 average with a home run. Scored 7 runs. Hernandez ahead 0-1. Stays inside. 1-1 to count to Boyd. 347 for Boyd against South Carolina in 12 games in his career. Ground ball through the hole on the left side. So an RBI single for Boyd, and he continues his hot hitting. That's RBI number 47 for Brent.
Boy, Boyd really having an excellent tournament. Anytime you can get that runner home from third with 2 out, you've done your job. Boyd with another run batted in.
Here's Chad White. Getting a start in left field today. Takes the first pitch high. White, not great success for South Carolina this year, just 1 for 6. Change up in there for a strike, 1-1. So a good start for the Crimson Tide. Alabama has outscored their opponents in the first inning this year 102 to 25. You can make that 104 to 25 now and still have an opportunity to add to that total. How about that number, Larry, in the first inning? Goodness.
Well, I mean, it helps your defense, obviously, and it helps your pitchers. I mean, you know, you walk out there, and if you get runs in that first inning, it puts you out in front, and there's another hit.
Boyd round second. He's on his way to third. Here's the throw. Not in time. A good throw would have had him.
Well, Brent Boyd took the option of going to third, and I thought perhaps Kutlangas might come up and make a good throw. He did. It was just offline a little bit. It's another 3 feet closer to that bag. He's out. Watch him make the turn right here. Boyd with a quick turn heading for third. I'll tell you what, he's getting it as hard as he can get it, making that turn. Not the speediest of guys out there on the base paths, but he got in there.
So first and third, 2 down. Hernandez not out of trouble yet. Zach Welch, 232 hitter. 3 hits and 9 plate appearances in the tournament. Up the middle. Welch with an RBI. And it's 3-0. Alabama over South Carolina.
For the shortstop,
Alabama's been here 5 times and won every single game. The last coming in 1999. But Alabama well aware that any lead not safe. They were down 7-2 yesterday. Came back to beat Florida in the nightcap. Alabama hasn't hit it very hard, but they've hit it in exactly the right spots.
It's kind of interesting that they're not really trying to pull the ball against Hernandez. Most of their singles have gone right back up the middle. In fact, the last 2 have. Both White and Welch's singles have gone right past the pitcher, Hernandez.
Pavkovich in his career versus South Carolina. Short career, 5 games, 231 average. Played in his 100th career game for the Crimson Tide yesterday. Got him. Curveball. Outside half of the plate. But Hernandez and the Gamecocks give up 3 runs with 2 outs on 4 hits, and they leave 2. Back to Hoover Met.
Ain't nothing like this place. Ain't nothing like this taste. You gotta feed your face. Chicka checkers. Check it out. What you gotta have? Chicka checkers. Where you gonna go? Gotta eat. How's it gonna be? Really good. Who's the one for you? Chicka checkers. What you gotta have? Chicka
Big Buford's back. 2 huge patties, cheese, and toppings, now 2 for $3. Big Buford. Bigger than a Big Mac, bigger than a Whopper. Now just 2 for $3.
You gotta eat.
Yo, I'm hungry.
Now, it's Florida's one and only regional sports newscast, and it's coming at you exclusively on Sunshine Network, the Inside Angle.
It's amazing the amount of work he has put in terms of recruiting, putting a staff together.
I simply have no desire to retire.
Covering every team from across the state. Your regional news is Nextel Florida Sports News. Weeknights at 10, only on Sunshine Network.
Alabama scores 3 on 4 hits to get the game started. On a right note, if you're a Crimson Tide fan, South Carolina, well, they're trying to get a spark started here in the second. Here's how they got here. They knocked off Arkansas in the first game, but then ran into a tough LSU club, falling by 5. Drew Meyer had 3 hits in that one. Then they came back and responded and beat Arkansas 6-2. Then they beat LSU 10-8, forcing another game last night. And that's one they won 5-4. We showed you at the Open how that happened. A controversial play at second base with the bases loaded in the bottom of the 9th inning.
Leading off for South Carolina.
As Drew Meyer talks to Ray Tanner. And you see the last time a #1 seed played in the championship game was in '99. The team to beat him was Alabama. That's our situation here. The tied the #2 seed, South Carolina the #1 seed after winning the regular season with a record of 21-8 in league play, and they had to win it on the final day of the regular season. And here's Trey Dyson hitting .270 with 16 home runs, the designated hitter.
I asked him today about wearing the glasses since we had not seen them on him until the tournament. He looked at me and he says, Mr. Connolly, he says, I can just see the ball better when I got my glasses on. And I said, well, you look very studious. I guess that's why you got that postgraduate study money.
Off the fist, that's a base hit. Good start for Carolina here. The Dyson single to right. Trey, the Boyd McWhorter SEC Male Scholar Athlete of the Year. Congratulations to him. The most prestigious award an SEC student athlete can attain. And he is a guy that has gotten it done in the classroom. And I've said it before, I admire what he did this year because of his, just had a horrible season on the baseball field last year. And worked hard and earned his spot on an everyday lineup. 1-0 to Justin Harris. Here's Trey. Doesn't know what he's going to do yet in terms of graduate school. Going to try baseball. Give that a shot before he makes a decision.
Well, it's nice to know that you've got a degree in finance and you're bright. You'll be able to certainly interview with a lot of different companies and find work. He has a lot of interest in the stock market.
He was telling me, I said, "You're going to go to graduate school at South Carolina?" He says, "No, they want you to speak 5 languages." He says, "I'm still mastering the only one I know." Got him. Heads up play. Peter Stoner double play. Scooped it right off the turf. And got Dyson, who made a head-first slide, back to first base.
Watch Stoner at second. Get down low and very quickly make a snap throw over to first to Boyd to double up Dyson. And there's 2 down here in the second. Nice play. Good stretch over there, too, by Brent Boyd.
Boyd playing just his 21st game at first base. Fly ball right center. McClanahan and Garner converging. It'll be McClanahan in right center, shy of the warning track. Well, South Carolina, they hit it hard, but have nothing to show for it. We move to the second.
Escape the ordinary and get into A&E's biography, where you'll step out of your life and into someone else's with the hottest, most talked about people you thought you knew. Only on Biography, and it's only on A&E.
A&E's Biography is sponsored locally in part by Aqua Plumbing and Air.
Always remember your first girlfriend and your first motorcycle. At Classic Cycles, we honor the past and appreciate the present. At Classic Cycles, we've never met a bike we didn't like. At Classic Cycles, you're not just a customer, you're a family friend. We offer some of the finest pre-owned sport bikes, cruisers, custom bikes, and touring models in the area. Need service, repairs, more power? Our Performance Central experts do it all. Remember us, Classic Cycles, always friendly.
Move to the bottom of the second inning. Alabama leading South Carolina 3-0. Let's take a look at how Alabama got here to the championship game. They beat Mississippi State 12-2, and the 8 means that they enacted the mercy rule, up by 10 after 7. Alabama came back to beat Florida. Lance Cormier had 4 strikeouts in 7 2/3 innings. Then Florida yesterday responded and knocked off Alabama 7-4 despite Peter Stoner's 3 for 5 afternoon. But Alabama got the better of Florida 11-9. 4 home runs for the Crimson Tide in that game. Grand slam by Garner. And here's Jim Wells trying to close in on Skip Bertman's record, which will stop at 6 as he has moved to the athletic director position at LSU. Ron Polk has 4 titles, matching Wells. And Alabama has reached the SEC Tournament Championship for the 5th time since '95 under that man. Here's Allen Rice, the number 9 hitter in the order, and the 3rd baseman. Allen hitting .238 this year. Has 10 doubles to his credit. Fouls that out of play. Souvenir. Got his first career start on March 30th, and that happened to come against these Gamecocks, and he went 2 for 5.
Both of them were doubles.
He's in the lineup basically for his defense. He's played a solid 3rd base. Went 1 for 6 yesterday. Fouls that out of play. Another souvenir. Hey, that's why you bring your glove. The fan down to our left made a nice catch in the mitt. Hernandez working quickly here. 1 and 2. Fouls it off the plate. We'll do it again. Actually fouls it off his foot. Oh, we got a second. We got 6 umpires today. We've got it covered like a blanket. Tony Walsh is behind the plate. Paul Gilly at first base. John Magnuson is at second. Ken Couch at 3rd. Down the lines, it's Scott Irby. He's at the left field line, and Mark Chapman's down the right field line. These guys had a workout yesterday.
Did they ever? Both making calls and explaining the rules.
Here comes the 1-2 pitch to Allen Rice. Check swing, did he go? No, says 3rd base umpire Ken Couch. The 2-2. Right back up at Hernandez. Hernandez just looks down and can't believe it. He was ahead 1 and 2. And Rice fouls off a couple of pitches and sends one right back up the middle. How about this fact as we were looking at the numbers today? First time since '97 that the top 2 seeds have met in the finals. Alabama defeated LSU in that one 12-2.
You know, David, for the first time, all top 4 seeds made it to Saturday. We've never had that before.
Garner to right field. Rice on his way to 3rd. He'll make it in safely, standing up. First and 3rd, nobody out. And once again, the South Carolina bullpen gets to work.
Rocky Evans is back out there again. Well, they are just pecking away right now at Hernandez. South Carolina has watched Alabama put 6 guys on base through hits, and every hit has been a single.
And here comes Peter Stonard. Singled and scored in the 1st. Runner goes. Powell's throw down to 2nd. Not in time. Garner didn't hesitate. His 21st stolen base. He's 21 out of 25 now. And he got a great jump off of Hernandez too, which is one of the reasons Powell couldn't throw him out.
You know, most of the time you'll see a guy turn and look quickly into the plate to see what's going on with the pitch. That time Garner just decided not to, and he picks up his 21st stolen base of the year.
Overall, Alabama 4 of 5 now in the stolen base department in the tournament. Ground ball to 1st. Peters will toss it to Hernandez, but the run scores. So Stoner did his job, hit it to the right side of the infield, moved everybody up 90 feet. 4-0 Alabama.
Number 14, the catcher, Jeremy Brown.
And for Stoner, that's RBI number 40 on the season. Meeting on the mound once again, and South Carolina not wasting any time. They're going to make a change. Ray Tanner doesn't want this one to get out of control.
Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Hernandez.
So Chris Hernandez calls it an afternoon as Alabama leads it 4-0.
The finest leather boots are at Big Phil's Boots.
We've got a new pitcher on the mound, and it's Rocky Evans. The right-hander is out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. 6 feet, 209 pounds, a junior. Pitched at Motlow State Community College. 10th appearance of the year. Pretty good earned run average. He's only thrown 16 2/3 innings, but he needed to come in because it was obvious that Chris Hernandez did not have it today, as already Alabama has put 6 hits and 4 runs on the board, and we're not even through the second inning yet. So South Carolina trying to stem the tide right now.
Well, Evans hasn't thrown since May 14th, a couple of weeks, when he threw an inning and 2/3 at Charleston Southern, gave up a couple of hits and a walk. Ray Tanner trying to talk to his pitcher, Chris Hernandez. Hernandez, as we told you, his last outing, his only start of the year, he threw a no-hitter through 8 innings, gave up a hit in the 9th. Ended up going 8 1/3 with 1 hit, but today a different scenario, and Ray Tanner trying to keep his pitcher's spirits up as the NCAA tournament looms just a week away. Here's Jeremy Brown with a runner at third and 1 down. Evans did not face Alabama this year. Fly ball center field. Kudelangas makes the catch, but that's good enough to bring home the runner from third. And Garner makes it a 5-0 game. So Brown does his job and picks up RBI number 58 this season.
Number 24, center fielder Scott McClanahan.
Alabama in this tournament with a .327 team average. 6 home runs in this ballpark, folks. That's saying something. 4 of those came last night. Florida led the league in hitting all season long. As a matter of fact, Florida they were hitting over 400 7 weeks into the season. McClanahan. The Busher, his throw just gets Scott, who hustled down the line. But the Tide score 2 on 2 hits. And they now lead it 5-0.
When I get a shoulder pain, it feels like somebody's in there cutting, and that's where the BC comes in. Whatever's hurting, it'll relieve those aches and pains. It's like a tiger on raw meat.
People call me the bug lady. I do a lot of bending, stretching, kneeling, lifting. I hurt sometimes from my knees to my neck. I take BC. It's quick. It works fast.
Yeah, you get the shoulder ache, you get the back ache, and sometimes you get it all at the same time. I'll take a BC for it. It works. It goes directly to the pain. Bam, it's there. It happens. It's a done deal.
I am Ruth Riley. My life revolves around sports. I love to watch sports and play sports. My favorite movie is Hoosiers. It's not a tough choice. The best movie ever made. My mom means everything to me, and my family's been so supportive of me along the way. I do try to answer all my fan mail. If people take the time to write to me, that's the least I can do is take the time to write them back.
For Miami Soul tickets, call 786-777-4SOL or log on to miamisoul.com.
Alabama, the 12th ranked team in the country, the number 2 seed at this tournament, leading the top seed and second ranked South Carolina Gamecocks 5-0. This has turned out to be a great week for college sports fans, and part of the activities include the virtual hitting machine. Larry went out there and struck out twice. So
3 times.
3 times. So he's back with me, thank goodness. Come on, Larry, you couldn't hit a home run?
I just didn't watch the real pros do it like this guy.
Well, this has turned out to be a spectacular setting. If you haven't been with us this week, the Southeastern Conference has really spent a lot of time and energy working with the people of Hoover and the Alabama Sports Council to make this a week-long event, and they've said record number of crowds. They've had over 100,000 come through the turnstiles for the first time in history. As a matter of fact, the SEC has taken college baseball to another level. They had over 1 million fans come through the turnstiles during the regular season for the first time in conference history. 1 million. Ground ball from Kulangas. First out. Stoner makes the play look easy.
But David, actually ended up being over 1,100,000. They had a big rush at the end of the season right there, as we weren't really sure who was going to win each division of the Southeastern Conference, the Eastern Division, the Western Division, and also who was going to make the tournament. So it ended up driving the numbers up because the crowds wanted to come out and watch. It has been a terrific year in the Southeastern Conference for baseball.
As I look at it, 5 session records have been set today. Drew Meyer, the leadoff man, pops the first pitch up. Will it stay in play? Alan Rice, yes, makes the catch. So shocking to see Drew Meyer strike out and now pop up in foul territory.
Number 15, right fielder, Steve Thomas.
Steve Thomas, the right fielder. Single back in the first. South Carolina has 3 hits. First pitch from Jeffrey Norris is a strike. This year versus Alabama, Thomas 3 hits and 12 plate appearances.
David, looking back at Jeffrey Norris, the pitcher for Alabama, he's had a couple of good outings this year. He had an outing against Kentucky where he went 9 innings and won 10-1, and he went 8 innings against Ole Miss and won 12-2. So he has the ability to pitch deep into the game. And that's something I'm sure Jim Wells will be happy to see, because the NCAA tournament is just around the corner.
You can get through the regular season with 3 good arms, but when you get to the NCAA tournament, you really need 4. The announcements will come tomorrow afternoon. Two and 2 the count to Thomas. Line left field, he smacked it. It's one of those that had to feel good coming off the bat.
Thomas having an awfully good tournament. He is now 8 for 19 in this tournament. And he's had back-to-back singles in this game. He had one in the first, and now here another one here in the third. He's also the leading RBI guy in the tournament for the South Carolina team.
Here's Brian Busher, the third baseman. Busher, fly out Victor to left his first time up. Takes a curveball for a strike. And remember, he's got this 21-game hit streak on the line. The school record is 25 straight games with a hit set back in 1976. So he's chasing South Carolina records. Of course, his leadoff man, Drew Meyer, has already set some South Carolina records. Myers, 105 hits, new school record. He also has 75 singles, which is a new school record. There's Drew. Fly ball right field. Garner converging with McClanahan, and Scott makes the catch on the warning track. In any other park, specifically in Columbia, South Carolina, Busher just hit a 2-run homer. But at the Met, it's just a loud out. 5-0 Alabama.
Wells approved. 5, baby. That's his 3rd stop today. Wagner to serve. Wait a minute. What's he doing? He may be tired and trying to stall. He's been getting punished all day. I wonder what's going on. Look at the size of those shrimp.
Red Lobster's Jumbo Shrimp. They're just that big. And now they're available for a limited time in succulent mix and match combinations. All for just $12.99. Red Lobster. Go overboard.
Of all the online shopping websites, one stands out as the destination for SEC fans. SECstore.com. Inside, you can visit over 20 different product departments, offering over 100 items per school. And there's no better place to get official, cool SEC logo merchandise. And when the clock winds down at championship time, official victory caps and tees go on sale instantly. It's the ultimate shopping experience for all SEC fans. SECstore.com.
The shot to short. Phillips to Bozanic. Got it. And Andy Phillips is going crazy. You think he wanted the championship? Alabama, the 1999 SEC Tournament Championship. Last time that man won this title was that game on this field. Jim Wells picks up the Coach of the Year honors after his club went 47-13, 20-10 in league play. You know, every year Alabama has made the tournament. They have played in the Final Four under Coach Wells.
Did not make it last year, and Jim Wells says that is not going to happen again. He rededicated himself and his players and said, we're going to get back into this thing again, and boy, have they ever. One thing that really hurt them last year, I thought their bullpen kind of let them down last year. It was something they needed to improve on, and they have.
Meyer gets Boyd out number 1. Rocky Evans has come in relief of Chris Hernandez. Done a nice job so far. Settled things down to this point. Nobody's won more baseball games in college baseball the last 3 years than this South Carolina club under Ray Tanner. But along the way, they have not won the SEC tournament, haven't been to the championship game of the tournament. They haven't been to the big show. This could be their year.
2 years ago, they had a disappointment because it looked like they were going to head to Omaha. They were hosting a super regional and lost 2 out of 3 to Louisiana Lafayette in Columbia, which was a big disappointment, I know, to Ray Tanner. And then, of course, last year they got into a super regional and had to go to Stanford and play, and didn't have a chance to win there, so they were shortchanged going to Omaha again. But this year it could be a different story.
They had the tying run at second base in the 9th against Stanford. Couldn't get the run home on that final day. My goodness, the job he has done. Both these coaches came into their programs, their respective programs, and brought some renewed vigor amongst their team. And look at what they have done. 71%, almost identical winning percentages among these two coaches. And the league itself has perhaps the best group of coaches you'll find anywhere in amateur baseball. So White draws a walk. First walk issued by Rocky.
Is he going to charge up the steps and raise his arms and put on his boxing gloves, Rocky, after this is over?
There's a chance if they win this game, he will. 5-run rally. Remember, Alabama had to rally from 5 down last night to beat Florida. They were down 7-2 and looked completely out of it, but hung around and finally picked up the win. But it took a 1-2-3 9th inning double play with the bases loaded to get here. Fastball by Powell. That'll send White down to second base. A wild pitch issued to Evans.
Even as good a catcher as Landon Powell is, pretty tough to pick up those short hops right in front of the plate. Ball gets back to the backstop and allows White to trot down to second.
That misses. Powell having some problems back there. He might be getting a little mixed up with his pitcher, and he'll run out there and check those signs. Powell may have switched up the signs with the runner at second base now, and maybe Evans might have missed a call because those two weren't in sync.
I'll watch it again. Yeah, I think that ball had a little bit of movement on it, too.
Well, I think maybe Powell's looking fastball, and he got slider. Or might have been looking curveball. Welch yesterday versus Florida's first start since April 17th for Sanford. It's another start here today. Welch went 1 for 5 against Florida last night. Off of Evans' glove. Meyer gonna have to make a quick throw to first and did so. Boy, Drew could cover a lot of ground out there behind the pitcher. Runner moves to third. 2 down in the inning now.
Score at 1-6-3. Off of the glove of the pitcher Rocky Evans. A whole lot of shortstops that can get the ball on the left side of second base and still come up with it and get the out. But that man can. Drew Meyer has had a terrific year in the field. Coming into this game, he had only made 8 errors in 270 chances.
Adam Pavkovich, Meyer's counterpart at shortstop. 1-1. White at third. That's downstairs. 2-1. Pavkovich, an interesting story, is that he really kind of wanted to go to LSU, but didn't make it there, and Skip Bertman didn't think he'd work for that program, but he knows Jim Wells because Jim Wells coached with Skip Bertman, and called up Coach Wells and said, I think I got a guy that might fit what you're looking for. There's a strike at the knees, 2-2, and it has worked out well for everybody.
Yeah, Pavkovich's high school coach knew Coach Bertman very well and Coach Wells, and he called him up. He says, I think I've got a guy that will fit with your program. And Skip Bertman says, I don't have any room, but I'll send him to Jim Wells.
Right now, Pavkovich not concerned about anything but trying to get a hit. Evans strikes him out. 5-0 Alabama leading South Carolina. We have completed 3 innings of work. And that is the end of the 3rd inning. Now let's take a look back at some of the great finishes we've had this season on our SEC TV Game of the Week. You won't believe what you see. There's a line drive to right field. By Seth Smith. Auburn hit hard in the 9th, but can only manage a single run. That ball is hit to Ferris again, and the runner Edge will tag at third, and that will be the ball game. The Georgia Bulldogs keep finding a way. 0-1. Hammered left field. I don't think the park will hold it. Game over. Crimson Tide win it 6-5. Off the fist, could be 2 at home. Down to first. Tennessee wins it. How about that finish? Nothing but drama on the SEC Game of the Week. The 2-0. Popped him up. Right side. Fitzgerald in foul territory. Makes the grab, and Tennessee holds on to win. And what a gutsy performance from that man. What a year it has been on our Game of the Week. I appreciate the schedule makers setting that up for us. We had 5 straight 1-run games this season, and it's culminated with some great games here. And for the next 3 innings, I will turn it over to my partner, Larry Conley.
Thank you, Dave. And it has been a lot of fun this year. So far, Norris with 32 pitches, and of those 32, 20 are strikes. 3 innings, 1 strikeout. He's given up 4 hits. Hasn't walked a batter yet, so he's been under complete control out there on the mound and is taking care of these South Carolina hitters. And he'll face the player of the year in the Southeastern Conference, Jerome Peters, the first baseman. Peters with that unusual stance. Fully extended, but watch him get in position when that pitch comes. Swing and a ground ball down to short. Pavkovich up. First pitch swinging. Peters is out, 6-3. 1 up, 1 down.
Peters slowly running down that base path. He's limped profoundly last night. He's got a real tight hamstring. And he wasn't about to try to sprint that out and cost himself an opportunity not only in this game but next week at the NCAA tournament.
He strained that hamstring against Georgia last Sunday. In fact, he had to leave the game in the 8th inning, and of course we know that he missed the first couple of games of the tournament here. Norris delivers a strike to the left fielder, Garris Gauntz. Gauntz, a fly-out victim back in the first inning to right field. Norris has had 7 flyouts and 2 groundouts so far. Swing and a miss by Gauntz.
Larry, we were talking during a commercial break that this is the best scenario for Jeffrey Norris. Here's a guy who doesn't throw very hard. His theory now is throw it over the plate, let South Carolina hit it, let his defense do the work, and that's what he's done so far.
Also remember that through the first 2 games of this tournament, Alabama did not make an error. It's been a very good fielding team in this tournament.
They had some hiccups yesterday there with 5 errors, though, which is why they had to play the 2 games. Did not make their coach very happy at all.
5 errors never do. 1-2. Here's Gauntz out of Orange Park, Florida. Did he go? Yes, he did. Down in the dirt, hustling out there is Brown. The throw to first, and there's the strikeout of Gauntz. It's 2 away here in the 4th. Strikeout of the afternoon for Jeffrey Norris. He'll bring up the designated hitter, Trey Dyson, who singled back in the 2nd inning, and it was erased on a double play. Trey Dyson with a good year, came in hitting .270. He has a lot of pop in his bat. 16 home runs this year, 53 runs batted in. Breaking ball for a strike. Here's Trey Dyson's numbers this season against Alabama. In the 3 games he's played, he's hit them very well. 6 for 13 and a good average. Ground ball back up the middle, trying to get into center field. Nice play by Stoner. Throw, not in time. Oh, Peter Stoner did a nice job of getting to the ball. Just didn't have enough impetus on the throw to get it over there in time. And Trey Dyson is on with his 2nd hit of the afternoon.
We talked about Stoner playing in the outfield this year, but got a chance to move back to second base halfway through the season, and this is why he's at second base. Didn't get Dyson, but what an exceptional play. All the way behind the bag, running away from first. And a close play. Good stretch by Boyd over there. You're looking at a converted third baseman making the pick at first.
They'll bring up Justin Harris, the 2nd baseman. Harris has played the outfield for most of the tournament games here this week, getting the start at 2nd base today. Harris delivers a strike outside corner. Norris looking very sharp right now. Harris trying to extend this inning, trying to get the Gamecocks back in this game. Jeffrey Norris winds and delivers. Shot into right center field. Hustling over is McClanahan. He got it. We have witnessed a number of outstanding plays in the outfield in this tournament this week. And another one just occurred. One Scott McClanahan as we go to break. Hustling over into right center field. Rolling and coming up with the ball. Crimson Tide lead 5-0. And why not after plays like that? Come on back. We've got a championship game in the SEC.
I'm Billy Rice, and I buy all my trucks at Red Hoagland Pontiac GMC.
Yep, like thousands of others, Billy knows for incredible deals and first-class quality service, the only ticket in town is Red Hoagland Pontiac GMC. And right now, get 1.9% or rebates up to $3,500 on all 2002 Pontiacs and GMCs.
Quality service and great prices at Red Hoagland Pontiac GMC.
Home of the one-owner cream puff.
FSU Dance on Tour, an eclectic mix of contemporary dance, Saturday and Sunday, June 8th and 9th, at the FSU Oslo Center for the Performing Arts. Tickets are available now at the box office or by calling 941-351-8000. FSU Dance on Tour. Take the journey.
5-0 Alabama after a great catch by Scott McClanahan ended the inning. Looks like those young guys don't have any SEC gear on. Well, I got a place they can go. Make sure you hit a home run with this official SEC Baseball Championship gear right after this game, with T-shirts and caps worn by the winners themselves. There's no better way to celebrate their tournament victory than with the championship gear from the official online store for the SEC at seccstore.com.
Let's move to the bottom of the fourth, and Alan Rice, the number 9 hitter for Alabama, stands in. First pitch swinging, pops it up. Shortstop Drew Meyer wandering out into center field. He'll make the catch. 1 down.
Drew, former top pick by Los Angeles Dodgers. He is a guy that turned it down. Told Tommy Lasorda, thanks but no thanks. How do you do that?
Toughest one was turning down his grandfather, telling him he didn't want to go to Citadel. Top of the order, Travis Garner. He's already scored 2 runs. He's got a single, and he's walked 1 for 1 so far today. First pitch hitting, and he hits one right back to the pitcher, Evans, and he throws him out at first. So 2 pitches and 2 outs here in the fourth.
Number 1, second baseman Peter Stoner.
See, they listen. They're going to get their gear.
Well, he's got a hat.
Let him have it, bud.
That's a visor. Yeah, it's a visor.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
That's good. Oh, Roll Tide. We had to get the Roll Tide in there.
Heard that enough this week.
Oh, yeah. Peter Stoner in. To the pitch for a ball.
I asked Ray Tanner, I said, what's the deal with the black jerseys? Whatever makes the team happy.
Stoner lines one into center field, and right there, Kulangas makes the catch. Only 4 pitches in that inning. That's the way you like to have him. Rocky Evans says, I'll take more of that. South Carolina trying to get their offense going. They're down 5-0.
Can a bank help you catch the spirit of the Southeastern Conference? It can if it's Regions and Morgan Keegan. Because throughout the Southeast, you'll find more than 680 convenient locations, providing greater service to our customers. So whether your team is just going for bragging rights or a shot at the national title, only one financial team has the strength to be there with you. Regions and Morgan Keegan, official sponsor of the SEC Championship.
I'm Roy Kramer, Commissioner of the Southeastern Conference. The SEC has long been known for its athletic prowess, but let me tell you what I'm really proud of.
The commitment to academic excellence and community service our student athletes demonstrate. Last year, over 1,000 student athletes were named to the Conference Academic Honor Roll and Community Service Good Works team. That's what I'm really proud of. The Southeastern Conference. Today's student athletes, tomorrow's leaders.
In 1977, Ray Tanner began his college baseball career at NC State. He was a 4-year starter at shortstop and third base. Following his playing career, Ray served as an assistant on Sam Esposito's staff. Then, at the age of 28, Ray Tanner became one of the youngest baseball coaches in the nation. He ranked second in school history for most wins, and in 1990 was the ACC Coach of the Year. Larry, I talked to him today about his professional career. I said, how did it go? And he says, 1 day, well, actually, maybe 2 hours. He went to the Rocky Mountain Pines, the worst team in professional baseball. Went down there, checked in, looked around, said, I got a better chance at grad school than I do at this level, and went back home. Probably the best decision he ever made other than getting married.
Well, you'll soon find out about that.
Yes, I will.
We have 3 young ladies who are fans of the Tide. In fact, we can say that about a lot of folks in this facility today. Let's move to the 5th inning. Landon Powell, the catcher, will lead off for the Gamecocks of South Carolina. Powell flew out to center field back in the second. He looks at the first pitch for a strike. We have documented all year long the story of Landon Powell and his relationship, at least he and his family, with Ray Tanner. He grew up in Apex, North Carolina, and was actually a bat boy for North Carolina State for a while. And when he got to be old enough, Ray Tanner allowed him to go down in the bullpen and catch some of the pitchers that were pitching for him at NC State. Look what's happened as a result of that. He is now his everyday catcher. Landon Powell's dad, Ron, was an ACC umpire. and also a running back at North Carolina State and a third baseman. Comes from a very athletic family, Landon Powell. He'll be followed by John Kudlangas, center fielder. Shot to left field, heading toward the line, close to the line, and just foul. So Landon Powell will come back and do it again. Landon has been invited to participate in the 2002 USA National Baseball Team Trials. Those will be held in June in Tucson, Arizona. Of course, all of that is after Omaha, Nebraska, and the College World Series, where the South Carolina Gamecocks hope they will end up. Norris delivers one down in the dirt, 2-2. Glad you're with us today. We have been doing the Southeastern Conference Baseball Game of the Week for the last several weeks, and we have had a terrific season, culminated today by a capacity crowd watching the Crimson Tide and the Gamecocks, trying to decide who's going to be the tournament champion. Breaking ball got him. Good curve ball by Jeffrey Norris, and Landon Powell's a strikeout victim. One away. Watch the breaking pitch again. Good one, right on the outside part of the plate, and Powell was frozen. They'll bring up John Kudlangas. Kudlangas grounded out to second. Back in the third. Breaking ball for a strike.
Norris may not throw it hard, Larry, but the key to him is changing speeds. Now that sounds kind of funny, but if he can change speeds from 83 to 75, it's still very effective.
One of the things that you will talk to hitters, guys who really like to hit fastballs, they hate to face guys who do change speeds. Give you a lot of different looks, moving the ball around. It's a fly ball to the left side, heading into foul territory, and giving chase was Rice, but he couldn't catch up.
And there are a lot of fastball pitchers in this league. I mean, that's the majority of what we have in this league. So a guy like Norris is a great changeup. No pun intended.
I got it.
Okay, good.
I'm not sure our audience did, but I do.
That's all that matters.
1-2. Drew Meyer awaiting on deck. He is the leadoff hitter for these Gamecocks. Here comes Norris. Down in the dirt again. 2-2. South Carolina with a terrific year, ended up 48-13, and they were the overall champion in the Southeastern Conference at 21-8. Alabama ended up 47-13. They were 20-10. Got him. Laid it right on the outside part of the plate. His fourth strikeout of the afternoon, and he's got two guys in a row to look at the third strike.
We saw Norris earlier this year against Auburn and didn't have his good stuff, and we're seeing it today. Location, location, location.
Gonna bring up Drew Meyer. So far 0 for 2. Came into this tournament game hitting 8 for 16 so far this week, but hasn't been able to do anything against Jeffrey Norris today. Here's his pitch count so far. He's gone 4 2/3, 55 pitches. Pretty good afternoon. You get 5 hits and you don't walk anybody. Meyer hits one to right field. Hustling back is Travis Garner to the warning track, to the wall. It's going to bounce off the wall. Meyer will coast into second base with a double. A little surprised he didn't turn it up a little bit and head for third with his speed.
And I think Drew's right now wondering, why didn't I keep going? He's got great speed and just
Number 15, right fielder,
stopped at second. Drew frustrated after striking out and then popping up in foul territory. Garner had some trouble. He turned, and you know, this ballpark, you got to keep running. He'd have run out of room in any other ballpark. Drew ends up at second base, and I think he looks back and says, I should have maybe given it a shot. But here's the story with Drew Meyer. 20 doubles now this season.
And it'll bring up Steve Thomas, who has 2 singles already this afternoon. He has 1/3 of the hits that South Carolina has, and he looks at the first pitch for a strike. Speaking of doubles, Thomas leads the Southeastern Conference in doubles. He's got 24 for the year, and he'd love to have his 25th right here. Norris delivers outside, 1-1. don't think there's any doubt in anybody's mind that these two clubs are both going to be hosting this week. The question is, who is going to be sent into Columbia and who's going to be sent to Tuscaloosa to play against them? Norris with a 1-1 pitch. Outside, 2-1. You know, in some ways, Dave, I think it's really at a disadvantage the way they've got it set up now, at least from a geographic standpoint, for travel for these teams, because of the strength of the Southeastern Conference and the ACC, and basically schools in the Southeast and Southwest who may have to end up facing each other. There's a shot to right field and a base hit. Thomas with his third hit. Here comes Meyer. Here comes the throw. No, he dropped it. Oh, he had him tagged out. Jeremy Brown right there with the ball, and Meyer dislodged it from the glove. South Carolina picks up their first run.
Boy, you saw that coming from the time it left the bat of Thomas. Good throw from Garner just to the right side of the bag. It was there in time. But as Brown made the swipe from his right side back to his left, he lost the ball right as it made contact with Drew Meyer. There it is.
I'll tell you what, you can see the reaction of the Alabama bench in the background. Those guys were coming out of the dugout. They thought they had Meyer nailed at the plate. You know what? Tony Walsh was ready to call him out, too.
Well, he definitely had him out. Just dropped the baseball.
Steve Thomas now with 3 singles on the afternoon. Pitch outside. South Carolina gets on the board
with a 2-out run.
Brian Busher, the third baseman, 0 for 2 today. Ground ball hit towards second. Peter Stoner it over easily, and it'll be the third out here in the 5th. But South Carolina picked up 1 run on 2 hits. They had 1 runner left on base, and thankfully for the running of Drew Meyer, the Gamecocks have finally gotten on the board.
When I have a headache, it feels like the whole world is crashing down around my ears. I reach in my wallet, get a BC powder. Now the headache goes away. Everybody who's ever come to me with a headache, I tell them about BC powder.
When I have a headache, it's like somebody's taking a C-clamp and just keeps on turning it. Go take your BC powder. You're feeling much better, so you go back at the job. It don't take no time at all, so that's why I take BC.
When I have a headache, it feels like horse hooves just clopping on your head. I'll take a BC. The headache is gone. Just try it. And once you do, you won't go back.
Don't miss the season opener for the Miami Soul as they take on the Minnesota Lynx. Coverage begins Tuesday at 6:30 with Sunshine Network Live.
Inside, outside, from the driver's side. 120 minutes covering the best in auto racing. Strap yourself in each week. The Discount Auto Parts 120 on Sunshine Network.
This presentation of SEC College Baseball is being brought to you by Carpets of Dalton, the nation's largest floor covering store, and by Dodge. Get somewhere. Grab life by the horns. Dodge. Birmingham, Alabama, site once again of the SEC baseball tournament. Excitement, except for that young man. You know what? He may not care right now. Give him 2 more years, and he will care.
Yeah, but he's probably enjoying himself more than anybody. Here's Baseball America's top 12 right now. You can see Rice out of Houston on top. South Carolina second. Florida State third. In fact, the ACC and the Southeastern Conference well represented in Baseball America's top 12. We think, I don't know, probably 10 of those schools will host next week. Jeremy Brown, the catcher for Alabama, looks at the first pitch from Rocky Evans. It's a strike.
I'd like to congratulate Larry, Florida State, and Mike Martin on winning the ACC baseball championship.
Breaking ball for a ball.
That league had a solid season as well.
They did, and of course Mike Martin continues to do what he always does, is coach well down there. I'll tell you what, I had the opportunity to do a lot of ACC baseball for a number of years, and you've got a good group of coaches in that league over there. And of course Ray Tanner was over there for a number of years when I was there.
Florida State might be the top seed.
Could very well be. Although I think Rice might be the club that we look at They've had a great year. Brown swings and fouls one back. Count goes full.
All those announcements will be made tomorrow around lunchtime.
Nice cut. Here we go.
Jeremy Brown today, he walked back in the first. A sacrifice fly back in the second and an RBI. Jeremy was his 58th run batted in.
Jeremy got a little tournament scruff going, playing at school record 245 games.
There's a ball hit toward right field. Steve Thomas, right there in his tracks, has got it. One down. It'll bring up the center fielder, Scott McClanahan. Scott McClanahan is really an interesting story, and Dave and I have had a chance to visit with this young man, and what a family he has. His dad came up in the booth in one of our games this year and had a chance to sit and talk to us. This is a young man that has lived in Germany, Spain. In fact, he played Little League baseball, played in the Little League World Series while he was living in Germany. He is married to the former Amanda Smith. In fact, they are very involved in their youth church program, spend a lot of time with kids. This is a fine young man.
There's Scott's father right there. Auburn man, played ball at Auburn. But he's got that Alabama hat today.
Good to see Mark out. McClanahan will trot down to first base with a walk. They'll bring up the first baseman, Brent Boyd.
We saw Scott make that great catch in center field a little while ago, and you mentioned it yesterday, Larry. The great sign, the best sign we saw all year. 2/3 of the earth is covered by water. The other third is covered by Scott McClanahan.
It's one of the great signs I have ever seen. Well, he takes a short lead at first and goes back in. Brent Boyd today, an RBI single back in the first, out short to first in the third. Brent Boyd only 15 hits shy of the Alabama all-time record of 322 career hits. He's the all-time leader in at-bats in the history of University of Alabama baseball.
To 940. This is 948 now.
It's also kind of nice to see seniors stay around. You know, oftentimes we see the good junior players go on, much like Drew Meyer will do, the shortstop for South Carolina, who will be drafted, I'm sure, next month. There are a number of players, while after their junior year, if they've not had successful years, will come back for their senior year. And it's one of the reasons why Jim Wells has had such a good year this year, is because of the senior leadership he's got out there. And this is one of them, Brent Boyd. And here's another one over at first. Scott McClanahan. Somewhat a humid day today. More humid than it was yesterday. It was just plain hot yesterday. Here's the 1-0. Here goes McClanahan. Here goes the throw from Powell. Not in time. Well, McClanahan picks up his 19th stolen base of the year in 24 attempts.
Scott got a good read on Rocky Evans, and he's having 7 steps down the line before Rocky let it go.
Powell made a decent throw. McClanahan just had too big a jump. Evans delivers outside. 2-1 now to the first baseman, Brent Boyd. Brent out of Fort Worth, Texas. There's a strike inside corner. 2-2. Here's Boyd's career against South Carolina. He's been to the plate 49 times, 347 average. South Carolina probably will be glad to get rid of him. Go ahead and graduate. Here's Evans with a 2-2. Ball hit right back up the middle. second hit of the afternoon. McClanahan turns. He's not going to go. The cut, the throw, no throw. I thought maybe once that ball was cut there by Peters, he might turn and make the throw down to second, as Boyd went head first into second base.
Number 36, left fielder Chad White.
Scott had to hesitate for a moment, didn't know if the ball was going to be caught. He made the corner and was held up at third base. Jim Gatewood over there coaching third. You see Langus bobble it. That's what got the crowd up on their feet. But Boyd hustling, made it into second. Infield in now.
That was a strike, but I think time was called before the strike. You know what happened? I think a ball got loose down in the South Carolina bullpen, and the left field umpire, Scott Irby, called time, and nobody hurt him. Matt Campbell warming up in that bullpen for the Gamecocks. Infield in for South Carolina. They cannot afford to give any more runs to the Crimson Tide. Chad White today 1 for 1, a single in the first, walked, made it to second and the third on a wild pitch and is stranded there. Evans delivers, breaking pitch outside corner. 0-1. Zach Welch, the designated hitter, on deck.
South Carolina's outfield playing quite shallow. The infield drawn in.
1-1.
Matter of fact, Kudalangas out in center field might be playing the shallowest center field I've seen all tournament.
Chad White doesn't have any home runs this year. Maybe that's one of the reasons. There's a shot in the left field, right in his tracks. Garris Gons makes the catch. Here comes the throw. Perfect. Double play. Boy, Gons came up big with that one. On a direct line right into the glove of Landon Powell. And they nailed McClanahan, who has terrific speed. Great way to finish the inning. Garris Gons with an excellent throw from left field. Now the Gamecocks have shown a little bit of leather so far here today, but what they need is something with those bats. They're down 5-1. Good throw, good play.
There's a light in your soul. It says you're one of a kind. Don't ever let it go. Be original, an individual, like Dr. Pepper. Be you, do what you do. Dr. Pepper. Be you, do what you do. There's nothing better. Be you, do what.
What does it take to compete in the Southeastern Conference? The same stuff it takes to outperform in the global marketplace. In the field of travel technology, WorldSpan is the class, the franchise player, the go-to guy.
WorldSpan. Corporate travel comment application. Airline automation. Internet travel technology.
WorldSpan, proud partner of the SEC.
Tide continues to lead South Carolina 5-1. So far, Jeffrey Norris is having the better of South Carolina with that 4-run lead. Let's go back and take a look at his strikeouts, at least at this point. He got Drew Meyer to start the game off. He came right back and got Garris Gons. And then in the 5th inning, back-to-back strikeouts, one to Landon Powell looking. And then another stand and stare to John Kudalangas and Jeffrey Norris so far with 7 flyouts, 3 ground outs, and 4 strikeouts. In control.
Number 32, first baseman Yaron Peters.
Middle of the order for South Carolina, Yaron Peters, the number 4 hitter, then Garris Gons and Trey Dyson to follow. Jeffrey Norris pitching into the 6th here. Left-hander deals. Strike. Dave, your point early really is well taken and well made. The fact that he's throwing strikes. He's gotten the lead and he's out there forcing South Carolina to step up there and swing the bat, and his defense is working so far. Peterson slams one out into center field, and there's Scott McClanahan. There's one away. Bring up Garriscons, the left fielder, who made that excellent throw to end the 5th inning to get that double play. Oh, he laid that ball right into the glove of Powell. 64 pitches so far for Jeffrey Norris, 41 strikes.
You know, we've seen a couple of times plays at the plate, Larry. I think it needs to be mentioned about the rule in college baseball.
There's a shot to left field. Chad White hustling over, is not going to get there. That'll be a base hit for Garriscons.
Back to that, the plays that we have seen in college baseball, you cannot barrel over a catcher. You have to slide if there's a play at the plate, or you're ruled out and you're actually ejected from the game. So we've seen a couple of plays at the plate today, and that's why you haven't seen any of those collisions that you might expect at the next level of college baseball. And it's a safety measure, strictly all that is.
The question I always have about that particular play, what happens if you've got a catcher 3 feet from home plate blocking the plate and he doesn't have the ball? I've not been able to get a reply from
me,
from you, or from any umpire. There's a pitch up.
And of course, the game last night, the double play with the bases loaded, and we had runner interference. Wally Pontiff. In college baseball, the runner has to slide in that situation, and you cannot make contact with the player making the turn at second base. In that instance, it was a shortstop, Drew Meyer.
Trey Dyson looks at a strike on the outside corner, 1-1.
And in that situation, it was an automatic double play. The runner that was on third had to go back to his bag, and the runner at second had to go back to his bag. The next batter up made the third out of the game, and South Carolina held on for a 1-run victory.
Norris delivers down low for a ball, 2-1.
And after the game, Smoke Laval was hot. I mean, he was smoking, to say the least. But the rule is the rule, and the umpires made the correct call.
Dyson looks at the pitch out of the strike zone, 3-1. Trey today, 2 for 2. Single back in the second. It was erased on the double play, and an infield single hit out toward the second baseman Stoner, who made a nice play but couldn't finish it off. So 2 for 2 today for Dyson. First baseman Boyd playing in back of the runner. Here's the pitch. There's a shot. Deep right field. Way back. Nice catch in front of the wall by Travis Garner.
Larry, anybody that's been to Columbia, to Sarge Fry Field, knows that that ball that Trey Dyson just hit would have been over the train tracks. Instead, it's just a long out by Garner on the warning track by Dyson. The catch made by Garner just a few feet shy. And Trey knows it. That's a couple of times in the last 2 days he's hit the ball that hard to that spot and has made it out.
Bring up Justin Harris, the second baseman. He hits one toward the third baseman, Rice. He comes up, throws across. Off the bag, and the tag made by Brent Boyd for the third out. South Carolina gets one single. He's left stranded. We're going to move to the bottom of the 6th, and it's still Alabama 5-1.
Do you like to draw, or paint, or maybe just sketch and doodle? Well, if you do, chances are you have the interest needed to become a serious art student. To find out, simply call toll-free, and Art Instruction Schools will send you this enjoyable art test. There's no cost or obligation. Take the test at home in your spare time and mail it to us when you're done. Our experts will review and grade your test. Call our toll-free number today for your free art test. Don't let the wonderful world of art pass you by. To get your free art test without cost or obligation, call this toll-free number. Don't delay. Call this toll-free number now. Call 1-800-465-5115. That's 1-800-465-5115.
Escape the ordinary and get into A&E's biography, where you'll step out of your life and into someone else's with the hottest, most talked about people you thought you knew. Only on Biography, and it's only on A&E.
A&E's Biography is sponsored locally in part by Aqua Plumbing and Air.
Go on there and design her own little elf.
There's a guy who doesn't want to design anything except he's got design on that popcorn.
Absolutely, so do I.
All right, we'll move to the bottom of the sixth. Zach Welch, Adam Pavkovich, and Alan Rice will face Rocky Evans. Ball headed toward right field. Nice pickup by Peters. A little flip over there to Evans, and that'll be the first out. So it's 3-1 on the score. One down. It'll bring up the shortstop, Adam Pavkovich. He's had a tough day today. He has struck out both times he's gone to the plate. Pavkovich has played a lot of positions for this Alabama team this year. First, second, shortstop. He's even pitched a little bit.
So he's got a 93-mile-an-hour fastball.
He just looked at one right over the plate. 1-1. Kind of shortened up to try to bunt. Pulled it back. 2-1. Alabama and South Carolina will be advancing this week as Pavkovich fouls one off to the right. And we are sure that the two teams that were here yesterday, both Florida and LSU, will be there. And the question becomes tomorrow, who else in the Southeastern Conference will make it to the NCAA tournament? Here's a 2-2 pitch. Foul back. Dave, you have any thoughts on that?
Well, Mississippi State and Georgia right now are sitting at home wondering what their outcome will be. Will they call it a season, or will they have an opportunity? I think Mississippi State has the edge.
Ground ball hit to third. Pusher up with it. Throw across. There's the second out here in the sixth. Here's the first team all Southeastern Conference. You think it's not dominated by these two teams? Just look down that list. You see a lot of Alabama and South Carolina players. I tell you what, even the second team was awfully good. There's Ray Tanner. What a terrific job he did this year. 48-13 overall. Southeastern Conference champions, and Jim Wells, Western Division champions of the SEC. Pitch for a strike from Evans. Evans has really settled down. He has only given up one run since he came on in the second inning. Foul back. 0-2. Alan Rice, the third baseman, down in the count. Fouled back again. Interesting story about Alan Rice. He is the first true freshman to start at third base for Alabama since Dave Magadan in 1981. And Magadan was not a bad player. Still 0-2. Evans so far 4 1/3 innings, and he has only walked 2, struck out 1, only given up 1 hit. Correct myself, Evans is not allowed to run. He actually came on after those 5 runs had scored. The first batter he faced was Jeremy Brown, so he really has done a terrific job. Fouled up into the stands. So Rice making it tough on Evans out there. Rice in the Southeastern Conference tournament. He's got a couple of doubles. He's got 3 runs batted in. Rivers, a ground ball right back up the middle. Hustling over is the second baseman Harris. He's not going to be able to make the play. So an infield single and the second hit for Alan Rice today. He'll be at first for Travis Garner. Garner today 1 for 2, a single, a couple runs scored, and a walk. Evans with a quick toss over. Garner, by virtue of that grand slam last night, 6 runs batted in, which at this point leads this Alabama baseball team.
Speaking of home runs, how about Sean Green, the Los Angeles Dodgers, with 2 more homers yesterday?
What is that, 7 in 3 days? At that rate, he's going to hit 200.
Barry Bonds moved to 5th place.
Past Mark McGuire. Evans delivers a pitch outside. 1-0. Rice a threat to go. He is 4 of 6 in stolen bases. Pitch inside from Evans. Stonered on deck behind Garner. Jerry Myers, the pitching coach, is going to go out and have a word with Rocky Evans. I think what he did was look down the batting order and see behind Garner, Stonard, Brown, and McClanahan. He said, look, you got to bear down.
Nobody warming up in the South Carolina bullpen, so it's just a meeting of the minds at this point. Myers, whatever the conversation he's having right now with Rocky Evans, Rocky is agreeing with everything he says. There's the hero from last night in terms of pitching, Aaron Rawl. 8 innings of work, struck out 8. Gave up 3 runs in that game, but he was fantastic last night. There's a strike. Whatever it was that Myers said to him, it worked. 2-1. LSU pitching coach Dan Canaveri told us a couple of weeks ago that this tournament is the last call for pitchers. This is your last chance to show us something because you know you're going to go through your staff. And for Aaron Rawl last night, he really put on a show for his coach. Evans delivers a strike inside corner. That may have fooled Garner a little bit. He was trying to back away from it and it moved over the inside part of the plate. So now, after being behind 2-0, Evans has thrown 2 straight strikes. Foul to the right side. There'll be a souvenir for some Tide fan. I think I can safely say it'll be a Tide fan. Ray Tanner wanted to know if we were going to root for South Carolina today. Your response was, well, it'd be the only 2 people here. There are a handful of South Carolina fans that have been here all week long. Some great support. Pitch outside, full count. And I think we may have found one. There's one of the ardent Gamecock fans. He's everywhere. We see him at every ball game, every sporting event. Go Cock! Here goes Rice. Pitches down low. Garner's on through a walk. Now runners at first and second for Peter Stonard.
Number 1, the second baseman, Peter Stonard.
Stonard today single and scored back in the first. Rounded out the second, picked up an RBI, so today he is 1 for 3. In there for a strike. What a year Stonard had. He was second in the conference in hitting. Pop up to the left side. And the left fielder will come in. Garris Gotts short left field, makes the catch. So Alabama put a couple of runners on, but they couldn't do anything with it as we have finished 6 complete innings. But still, it's the Alabama Crimson Tide leading 5-1.
Last night, Larry, was a dramatic conclusion to our Final Four. This was the bottom of the 9th inning. Bases loaded, LSU down 1. They hit into a double play, or Wally Pontiff was ruled out. He's supposed to slide. Drew Meyer makes the throw. The runner at first was safe. The run scores. Smoke Laval very upset. No run. Runners go back to their base. Next batter up made the final out of the game. South Carolina holds on. Then down 2 runs. Florida loaded the bases in the bottom of the 9th. But Jeffrey Norris comes on for 1 pitch. It gets Florida to hit into a 1-2-3 game-ending double play. You want your drama. You had it yesterday. And here's how it all happened. Alabama moves on past Florida. They had to play 2 yesterday, as did South Carolina and LSU. And the Gamecocks came out of the loser's bracket, meaning this is their 6th game since Wednesday. Alabama, this is their 5th game because they had Friday off after winning their first 2 contests. So in that aspect, you could say maybe Alabama a little bit fresher. But at this point, don't think it matters very much.
Well, good shot at Ray Tanner right there. He just had his club right out in front of his dugout, huddling with them and telling them where they are. They know exactly where they are right now. Well, to take you down the stretch and across the finish line, I'm going to give it back to Dave Neal. Dave?
Thank you, Larry. As we wrap up what has been an exceptional season here on SEC TV with our games of the week. Really wrap up an entire season of great athletic events from the Southeastern Conference. Every weekend, we have brought you the best that the SEC has to offer in every sport they have to offer, and baseball season has been great. It is amazing to me to have watched how much this league has grown in 7 years in terms of baseball. There's been a passion for this game, obviously, around this country, but in the last 5 years, the SEC has been swarmed with fans, and it's great to see. And Powell fouls it into that Alabama dugout.
I'll tell you something else that makes it appealing, too, is the fact that they have great venues. I mean, every place that you go in the Southeastern Conference, all of these schools have built really terrific fields. I mean, great places to play baseball.
Norris makes the stab like he did last night to start the 1-2-3 double play. Jeffrey, the 23-year-old sophomore. I think the guys in the truck got hungry, told the guy right there, we'll put you on TV if you make us some burgers. That's the only reason we're showing that, I think.
We can't negotiate anything like that up here.
Curveball in there for a strike. They haven't shortchanged us on the food this week.
No,
that's for sure.
Absolutely not. It is everything about this week has been terrific.
And this is outside, 1-1. Kulangas missed some time, was injured a little bit, getting back into the groove of things. The 1-1. Fouled off at the plate twice.
Does that count 2 strikes?
That was unique. Don't see that very often. Golf, we'd call that the TC chin.
I do that as just part of my swing.
That's pretty good stuff right there. You got to be good to do that. Tell you what, give him a single, send him to first. Jack swing. Brown lost the ball. This is going to be a close play. Safe at first. Jeremy Brown with a rare mistake behind the plate. He just lost the handle on it.
Well, he reached for the ball, and the ball wasn't there. Comes right off of his chest protector. Hustling down there, Kulangas got there just before the ball did. That will be an error on the catcher, Jeremy Brown.
What a big break for South Carolina. A runner on base, top of the order coming up. Here's Drew Meyer, who doubled his last time, came in to score the only run for the Gamecocks after striking out and popping up his first 2 times at bat. And Drew was involved in a close play at the plate when Brown dropped the baseball, and a good throw from Garner in right field. There's a strike for the All-SEC shortstop, making a bid for All-American as well. That's popped up. That'll get out of play into the seats. Brown's only a second error of the season. How about an LSU fan and an Auburn fan? And I don't know the other hat over there. I'm not familiar with that logo. That might have been Ray Tanner's minor league team's hat. And the dirt, nice play by Jeremy Brown.
Jeffrey Norris must be throwing some really sharp breaking pitches up there, because these hitters are really fishing after that ball, and it's hitting about a foot, maybe 18 inches in front of the plate.
Two and two the count to Meyer. Jeffrey Norris went on a Mormon mission in Utah, but played high school ball at Vestavia Hills just down the road. Meyer hits it hard to center field. McClanahan backpedals 5 steps, makes the catch. Drew hit it hard, but right at the center fielder.
Number 15, right fielder Steve Thomas.
Here's Steve Thomas with 2 down in the inning. South Carolina has hit the ball pretty well today, but they just haven't had anything to show for it. As this man's hit well all game, 3 for 3. Norris now at 84 pitches, 54 strikes, 29 balls. That's having command of your pitches. Jeffrey played at Vestavia Hills High School, as we mentioned, but for Sammy Dunn, whose son Casey was the catcher at Auburn a few years back. Great curveball. Vestavia Hills, one of the dominant baseball programs in the state, has been for a long time, and sent out quite a few talented players, and Norris just another in that list. The 0-2, runner goes. Thomas hits it, going to be a tough play. Thomas can't beat the throw. Pavkovich, inning over. Alabama has just played solid baseball since we started. Pavkovich, the sophomore shortstop, with a tough play, but got it done. Back after this.
Ain't nothing like this place. Ain't nothing like this taste. You gotta feed your face.
Chicka chicka checkers. Check it out.
What you gotta have? Chicka chicka checkers. Where you gonna go? Gotta eat, gotta eat. How's it gotta be? Really, really good. The one for you. Chicka checkers. What you gotta have? Chicka chicka.
Big Buford's back. 2 huge patties, cheese, and toppings, now 2 for $3. Big Buford, bigger than a Big Mac, bigger than a Whopper. Now just 2 for $3.
You gotta eat.
Yo, I'm hungry.
Inside, outside, from the driver's side. 120 minutes covering the best in auto racing. Strap yourself in each week. The Discount Auto Parts 120 on Sunshine Network. Don't miss the season opener for the Miami Soul as they take on the Minnesota Lynx. Coverage begins Tuesday at 6:30 with Sunshine Network Live.
The old ball game, that's what we're at. Hey, wake up down there. We got baseball going on up here. You know what happened? He was listening to our telecast. Got a little sleepy. We've had that impact on folks. A lot going on around here. Host Communications, marketing arm, done a nice job kind of entertaining the fans away from the playing field when they get the itch You get out and about here at Hoover Metropolitan Stadium. Great day for baseball. Jeremy Brown steps in, and one scoring correction. We just got word on this. Not that it has a huge impact on anything, but you can take the error away from Jeremy Brown on the strikeout last inning. They're going to give a pass ball to Norris on the strikeout. So one of those innings last inning where we had 4 outs recorded. Won't see that very often. There's a lot that's happened this week that we don't see very often. Jeremy Brown, the catcher, on a 1-2 pitch. Laces it to right field. You see Jeremy with his single to right, his first hit of the game. Last year had one of the most horrific hand injuries I've ever seen. He tried to make a throw from his catcher spot, and when he went to throw, he caught his thumb in his face mask behind the plate and ripped the tip of his thumb off. So he gets back, and I'm going to go ahead and say it, the bone was sticking out. And they had to do a lot of surgical work just to get that back together. I mean, it was one of the most freak accidents you will ever hear of. But he went on to play the rest of the year. Can you imagine? Can you imagine that? Making a full throw as fast as his arm is moving and getting your thumb stuck in the mask. Ouch. Jason Berkeley, the catcher for Mississippi State, had his thumbnail ripped off. Pass ball. Brown will make his way to second.
We're not painting the picture of encouragement for people who want to catch.
That'll be a wild pitch. Issued to Rocky Evans.
Watch it again, down in the dirt. Pretty tough play there for Landon Powell to try to come up with that one. It almost rolled into the dugout there on the Alabama side.
Tell you what, though, if you're a left-handed hitter and you want a shortest trip to the big leagues, be a catcher. Fly ball high in the air. Gantz makes the catch. Runner holds at second.
Number 6, first baseman,
That'll
Brett
take us
Boyd.
to Brett Boyd with one down in the inning. Ray Tanner trying to find a way to get Brent Boyd out. Boyd's had a tremendous tournament. Came into this game hitting .500 since the week began. Today, Boyd has a couple of more hits, 2 for 3. South Carolina will make a change to try to get Boyd out. Rocky Evans did a nice job in relief. Chris Hernandez. Rocky goes 5 innings, gives up 3 hits, no runs. We'll update the change when we come back.
Dennis, got a great deal for you. You sitting down? A potato chip ad, $1 million.
Not interested.
Dennis, I just talked to the chip people, and because you're you, they say $2 million.
What did I just say, Sam?
No, I know, right, sorry. I got them up to 2.5 mil, and there's no eating of the chips. You look at them.
For the last time, I don't do ads, all right?
No, and you shouldn't.
And that's final.
That I know, you're right.
Done.
Exactly. I'll tell them, maybe.
Gamecocks will send out their third pitcher of the afternoon. It'll be John Wesley, the 6'6", 235-pound junior out of Westbury, New York. Pitched at Brevard Community College down in Florida. As you can see, this is his 7th game of the year. He came on in relief last night. He has 1 save for the year, and you see only 5 2/3 innings pitched so far this season. And Dave and I were remarking about his trip to the plate last night. It's not very often that a pitcher in college baseball has a chance to hit. And John was very inexperienced going to the plate last night. He looked at 3 quick pitches and turned around and did a 180-degree turn and went straight back to the dugout.
A lot of that has been consumed today on a day when I got in my car at the hotel and it said 98 on my car temperature gauge. I said, oh boy, Larry's going to wear the blue shirt. Have to get rid of it when the day's over. Brent Boyd, just one of 3 highly critical cogs into this Alabama team that are seniors, making their last impression for the Tide fans. And they have had tremendous careers. And here's a look at those seniors. Lance Cormier on the mound has been great. We saw Shane Sanders struggle early yesterday, but really buckled down and help Alabama. He's had a pretty good season as well.
But I got to believe Cormier and Sanders are going to be their 2 lead guys this week, too.
Well, you said it. You've harped on it. You've been there at a high level of college athletics, and you know how important it is to have seniors lead you. 3-1 to Boyd, but you can't underestimate the value of having guys that can pick you up, know the ropes, know what it takes to win.
There's one part of that that's important, though. You must have talent. And if you've got the talent and you go out there every day and you work hard, then everybody else gets in behind you, and that's what you get when you've got seniors with talent and leadership.
Watch the Celtics come back from 21 down in the fourth quarter last night. And Antoine Walker, former Kentucky player, got Paul Pierce in the groove. Now back. Lance Cormier saying so long before it's done. He's 30-16 in his career. Picked up a win here at the tournament. And, you know, durability is a key in this league. Here's a guy who can throw 140 pitches and come back and throw 140 the next week, too. Now that'll play again. Three-two again. Smoked, heads up down the line.
You think you got a pitch you liked that time? he got it right where he wanted it.
Did that kid get hit with that ball?
Oh, I hope not.
Oh. Let's hope everybody's all right down there. Luckily, the ball hit 3 or 4 times before it got to the seats. Once again, these aluminum bats, they're like rocket launchers at times. High fastball got him. Boyd sits down. First strikeout for Wesley. Out number 2.
Number 36, left fielder Chad White.
Brown stands at second after singling. Two down in the inning. South Carolina gave up 5 runs in the first 2 innings. There's another strike, 0-2. White today has walked, singled, and right out to left field. Greg Tanner would love to keep this thing right where it is at 5-1 because he knows his team probably won't be sitting on 1 for the remainder of the day. Ground ball, that could make that South Carolina deficit bigger. The throw home, not in time. 6-1. Brown not exactly fleet of foot. And Gantz had already thrown out 1 batter today.
Well, a CNI single right there underneath the glove of Drew Meyer. You'll see Garris Gantz come up to try to nail his second runner. He fumbled that ball just a little bit, and it was just enough to allow the run to score as Jeremy Brown comes across before the tag is made.
White picks up an RBI. As Danny Watkins, the first base coach over there, has a big time watching his team pick up run number 6. I really didn't think Brown might. The ball was hit pretty sharply to left, and Gons has already thrown somebody out, so I didn't think Coach Gatewood would send a runner, but he did, and it paid off. Fly ball for Gons at the line. And Alabama picked up a run, their first run since the second inning. Their lead is now 5.
I'm Billy Rice, and I buy all my trucks at Red Hoagland Pontiac GMC.
Yep, like thousands of others, Billy knows for incredible deals and first-class quality service, the only ticket in town is Red Hoagland Pontiac GMC. And right now, get 1.9% or rebates up to $3,500 on all 2002 Pontiacs and GMCs.
Quality service and great prices at Red Hoagland Pontiac GMC.
Home of the one-owner cream puff.
Do you like to draw, or paint, or maybe just sketch and doodle? Well, if you do, chances are you have the interest needed to become a serious art student. To find out, simply call toll-free, and Art Instruction Schools will send you this enjoyable art test. There's no cost or obligation. Take the test at home in your spare time and mail it to us when you're done. Our experts will review and grade your test. Call our toll-free number today for your free art test. Don't let the wonderful world of art pass you by. To get your free art test without cost or obligation, call this toll-free number. Don't delay. Call this toll-free number now. Call 1-800-465-5115. That's 1-800-465-5115.
And who will be the 2002 tournament champs? We've got 2 innings to find out. We move to the 8th with Alabama leading 6-1. On 10 hits, South Carolina with 8 hits, but have only produced a single run. And you see those stuffed, whatever you want to call them, animals, the superheroes. Well, those happen to be picked up by Jerome Peters when South Carolina was in. Fly ball, first of all. Busher. Actually, it'll be picked up by the second baseman. First out of the inning, recorded by Stoner and the Crimson Tide. But back to those superheroes. Jerome Peters was in Athens, Georgia at a mall on Friday before their series, and he was playing some games in a game room, and he picked up that as a prize and took it to the game with him, and South Carolina ends up sweeping Georgia that weekend and claiming the SEC regular season championship. And well, Jerome decided to keep it with him as a good luck sign, and it worked there as he singles to right field for a 1-out hit for the Gamecocks. And for Peters, it's his second hit of the game, 2 for 4 this afternoon.
22 left fielder Garrett Gons.
They may want to go get a couple of more superheroes if they want to pull this one out.
Peters was only 1 for 7 coming into this game, so he's definitely picked up his hitting with 2 for 4 today.
Looks like something down the right field line.
Travis Garner is pointing to something down near the foul
football.
line. Oh,
Go figure. Football.
Yeah.
There's a shock. Folks, we've got a few more months before that starts. Let's finish the baseball season first.
That's something that doesn't go away in this state. It is a 12-month sport.
But they are passionate about this game, though. As passionate as you'll find anywhere in the country. Ground ball to third. Rice to Stoner to Boyd. Inning over. 5, 4, 3, double play. Just a nicely turned double play. Rice to Stoner to Boyd. And the Tide continue to lead.
Hello, I'm Mark
McCutcheon, president of Golden Flake Snack Foods. As a corporate partner of the Southeastern Conference, we are delighted to share our support and give a helping hand in making each SEC championship the best it can be. In return, the SEC shares with us this tradition and personality and brings us some of their excitement and team spirit. Golden Flake and the SEC, a winning combination.
For the most up-to-the-minute insight on all your favorite SEC teams, log on to SECSports.com. It's all there. Stats, standings, schedules, scores, rankings, records, and more. You can listen to weekly coaches' press conferences and watch highlights of past SEC championships. Get closer to the action than ever before with an exclusive free subscription to the SEC Insider and instantly access SECStore.com to gear up with all your favorite SEC team merchandise. So if you're into it, then get into it at SECSports.com.
Alabama and Pavkovich's pals on hand. Adams fan club has watched the Crimson Tide build a 5-run lead, and someone in his fan club have also checked out the bungee run. I did that one time at the SEC fanfare at the football championship game at the Georgia Dome and about broke my neck. You start getting my weight going in one direction, you best not snap it back.
Are you saying the momentum carries you?
Oh, yeah. I can't stop and pivot like I used to. Here's Adams' fourth at bat today. He's struck out a couple of times. That ball's laced down the line, but foul. Well, we got a second. Want to thank all the sports information directors at the schools this year, not just that made it here, but it's tireless effort by these folks. Make our job so easy, Larry. It's unbelievable, and I wish we could show them all. But just a big thank you to everybody involved with the 12 institutions and the Southeastern Conference and the sports information departments. And it's job well done by everybody.
Yeah, it really is a monumental task when you stop and think about all of the games that are played in baseball within the Southeastern Conference. I mean, in basketball, we get through it in about 27, 28 games. And in football, you've got 11 football games. And the baseball statistics are changing daily as each team plays. And these guys keep up with it. The Southeastern Conference office and each one of the people at their respective institutions have been very helpful to Dave and me. And we are very appreciative.
Well, of course, I've been associated with the Braves for a number of years and dealt the major league level, and I think the information you get from these folks is as good, if not better, than at the major league level. Bama has 10 hits today, and they've all been singles. How about that stat? And they produced 6 runs. Foul ball at the plate, and no errors today. South Carolina, the best fielding team in the country. They played 28 games of errorless baseball, 18 games with 1 error. How good is that?
It's outstanding. And that will play well when they start NCAA tournament play this weekend.
Pavkovich has only attempted 2 steals, thrown out one of those times. Wesley keeping an eye on him, but here's the bunt laid down nicely by Rice. The bobble. They get the out, almost had their first error of the game.
I can't figure why John Wesley backed off of that ball. I mean, he could have picked it up and made the same throw that the third baseman Busher was going to make.
I think Busher may have just called him off.
Just again, very unusual play. You'll see John Wesley come forward, getting ready to pick it up. He said, "Nah, I'm going to back it off and let Brian Busher get this assist."
Here's Travis Garner, the leadoff man. Garner today has walked, singled, scored a couple of runs, walked again back in the 6th inning. Wesley has proven to us 2 things in this tournament. 3 things. He can pitch pretty good. He doesn't hit, and he doesn't field. Line drive, left field. Gantz on his horse, makes a catch at the warning track. Nice play from Garrett's Gantz. We have seen Garrett make a couple of outstanding plays today in left field.
This time he got on his horse heading for that foul line and the wall. Puts that big glove up and draws it in. And actually tried to get a double play to double up Pavkovich, who had gotten almost to the bag at third and got back just ahead of the throw.
Coach Myers making his way back to the mound. The pitching coach to talk to his right-hander. Maybe South Carolina might want a lefty-lefty matchup. I don't know. Let's see what the Gamecocks do. Campbell getting loose. He's looking toward that bullpen. South Carolina also has quite a few seniors. We talked about Alabama's group, but look at this. Peters, Dyson, Gantz, Thomas, Bell, Taylor, Spigner, Wilson. I mean, Blake Taylor leads the nation in saves. Gary Bell, this is like his tournament. Trey Dyson, Aaron Peters.
Hey, he's throwing some breaking balls down
there. Talented seniors playing in the last SEC tournament. Well, Wesley
Ladies and
will
gentlemen,
be replaced, so South Carolina will go with the lefty-lefty matchup. We'll update the change as Campbell comes on.
In 1971, we started with a small wood preserving plant. It's hard to believe. But our number one goal has always been to be the best. My daddy always said, if you're ripe, you're rotten. If you're green, you're still growing. Great Southern wood, still growing after 30 years.
And the new pitcher is Matt Campbell, left-hander, 6'2", 270-pound freshman out of Simpsonville, South Carolina, Hillcrest High School. He has pitched in this tournament already. Thrown 3 2/3 innings, given up 4 hits, a couple of runs, only one of them earned, and struck out 3. So he has made a couple of appearances so far in this tournament. You can see a 3-2 record and a good earned run average of 1.84. Matt Campbell, the 4th pitcher to be used today by South Carolina.
Matt, a sports and entertainment management major. They didn't have that when I was going to school.
What prepared you for this when you were in college?
I socialized a lot, and that's part of this job. You got to socialize a little bit. I did good in socialization. At Florida State, that's pretty much offered to everybody that shows up on that campus.
And a lot take advantage of it, too.
Oh, yes. Well said. The left-hander facing Stoner. It's 2 that missed, 2-0. Campbell, just a freshman in his first SEC tournament. You see the runner at second. That's Adam Pavkovich. 2 down. That misses, 3-0. Four straight. And Stoner draws a walk. Tanner can't believe it. He asked home plate umpire Tony Walsh, where was it? He didn't like the answer, but not a lot Coach Tanner can do about it.
He did it in a very non-threatening way, though. No way that Tony Walsh would say anything. Depends on how you ask the question once in a while, you know.
That misses upstairs. Well, we talked about attendance all week long, and records have been set. 6 session records at this tournament. Today's attendance, 13,367. Look at that. That's a record number. 124,000 fans have come to Hoover Metropolitan Stadium this weekend, and tip my cap to the Southeastern Conference staging a fantastic event, and to the fans of this league for supporting their institutions. It's a battle just to get here, and I think the fans appreciate it when you are among the 8 teams that make it to the tournament. Hammer just foul. The top 2 seeds in the SEC tournament going toe-to-toe for the first time since '97. Ray Tanner's team claimed the SEC regular season championship. His second time in the last 3 years. Jim Wells, the coach of the year. They won the West for the 10th time. They've won 13 SEC championships.
Jim Wells has won 3 SEC tournament championships, 96, 97, and 99. And all 3 of those years, they went to the College World Series.
Curveball fouled off at the plate, 2-2. And here's something that shocks me. No Eastern Division team has won the SEC tournament since '91. That's when Florida defeated LSU in Baton Rouge. Now remember, they had a couple of years where they played this East-West championship at a specific site. It wasn't a true tournament format. Fouled out of play. We'll do it again. So there were a couple of years in there you could remove, but isn't that amazing? And Florida's had some awesome teams.
And South Carolina recently has had some very good teams.
Georgia had a great run last year. Tennessee has had some great teams, but they were at their best in the mid-90s when they had the divisional championships. Runners go on a 3-2, and he walked him again. Oh boy, South Carolina in a little bit of trouble here with Scott McClanahan coming to the plate. The Gamecocks will make another pitching change. Campbell last 2 batters, and he walked them both. We will update you on this change as the Tide have the bases juiced in the 8th.
Dodge Intrepid has been tearing it up at the track this year. This Intrepid will be tearing it up on the streets. It's jacked up with 16-inch chrome wheels, a rear spoiler, 200 horses, our 7-year, 100,000-mile powertrain pledge, and a lot more. And it parks in your garage for under 20 grand. Each dealer only gets so many of these babies, so if you want one, you're going to have to shift into high gear. Grab a piece of Intrepid action at your local Dodge dealer today.
And the Gamecocks will trot out their 5th pitcher for the afternoon. It'll be Cliff Donald, the right-hander, 6'2", 281-pound freshman.
First pitch to McClanahan in there for a strike. Breaking pitch stays inside, 1-1. Alabama with a chance to blow this wide open. They had the bases loaded back in the first inning, able to score a couple of runs in that situation, 3 total. 1-2. Flanahan, 333 average with the bases loaded. Popped him up. Will it stay in play or will it get to the seats? It'll get to the seats about 5 rows back. Flanahan bases loaded and hit into a double play, but did score a run. No credit for an RBI from McClanahan. That misses way outside. 2-2 now. Runners, Pavkovich walked. He's at third base. Stoner at second. He walked. Jeremy Brown at first. He walked. Got him looking. Slider outside part of the plate. Crowd can't believe it. McClanahan can't believe it. But here's the situation. Alabama 3 outs away from being tournament champs. We'll see what happens.
Always remember your first girlfriend and your first motorcycle. At Classic Cycles, we honor the past and appreciate the present. At Classic Cycles, we've never met a bike we didn't like. At Classic Cycles, you're not just a customer, you're a family friend. We offer some of the finest pre-owned sport bikes, cruisers, custom bikes, and touring models in the area. Need service, repairs, more power? Our Performance Central experts do it all. Remember us, Classic Cycles, always friendly.
This isn't about me. It's about them, the people who sit across the mic from me. Thousands have. Politicians, entertainers, extraordinary individuals. And if they reveal more about themselves than they ever thought they would, we've asked the right questions.
Larry King Live, weeknights on CNN.
Larry King Live is sponsored locally in part by Germain Toyota of Sarasota.
In car care.
Here we go, the top of the 9th inning. Alabama trying to win their first tournament championship since 1999. Need 3 more outs. Made a couple of changes. Actually, one change out in left field as Grant Redding comes in as a defensive replacement for Chad White. So Grant Redding to man the outfield alongside McClanahan and Garner. But I tell you what, Larry, quietly, and that's just the way he is, Jeffrey Norris has done a number on South Carolina. The Gamecocks have hit him. They've hit some balls. They have scorched some, but they've hit him at people. He's given up 9 hits today, but just 1 run. And how about this stat? He's only gone to 1 count where he had 3 balls.
I mentioned earlier the fact that he has had a couple of 9-inning outings this year, complete game wins. Well, he's pitched into the 9th here.
Just a fantastic performance by the 23-year-old who took a few years off of baseball. Went on a Mormon mission out of high school. Felt he was led to do that. Well, some said that he should have gone to play baseball. He felt he was better serving his beliefs by spending that time in Utah. Had to come back and convince Jim Wells to let him be a part of this Alabama team. When he started throwing, he couldn't get the ball over 80 miles an hour. That's a strike, 2-1. But eventually he won over his coach and got a spot on their weekend rotation. Married, 23-year-old. Dyson pops it up. That'll stay in the field of play. Out number 1. Norris last faced South Carolina for 1 inning back on March 20th. Threw 1 inning of work and struck out all 3 batters for the inning. Here's Justin Harris, 0 for 3 today. Fly ball, right field. Garner, McClanahan. It'll be McClanahan. 1 out away. $13,000 on their feet as Demetric Smith becomes the pinch hitter. Pinch hitting for Landon Powell. SEC tournament and mashes a home run to left field.
Boy, did he jump on that pitch.
Demetric Smith.
For Smith, only his second home run of the year.
A bomb. That didn't take very long, but still a 4-run cushion for the Crimson Tide. Here's Kevin Melillo. Melillo, 288. Didn't start today. Pinch hitting. That's in the dirt. Pinch hitting for Kudelangas. The 1-1. Fly ball right field. Can anybody catch it? Long run for Stoner. And he makes the running catch. What a fitting way for the Crimson Tide to play in the 2002 SEC Tournament Championship. The 6th tournament title for the Crimson Tide as they receive a complete game effort from their pitcher, Jeffrey Norris. And Alabama continues their streak of never having lost a tournament championship game. They are 6-for-6.
Alabama 6, South Carolina 2. Fans, please remain in your seats for the awarding of the all-tournament team and the presentation of the
6 runs on 10 hits, no errors. 2, 10, and 0 for South Carolina. These two clubs will host regionals. You could put that in the bank. Congratulations as well to South Carolina for fighting their way out of the losers bracket to get to the tournament championship game. It's their 6th game since Wednesday. But Alabama, in front of 13,000 at Hoover Metropolitan Stadium, take home the tournament championship trophy. Jeremy Brown and company will grab their t-shirts, their hats, but most importantly will grab the trophy from the commissioner of the SEC, who will be handing out his last Southeastern Conference trophy as he will retire this summer.
Nice gesture right there. I was watching Ray Tanner behind home plate go over and shake hands with Jeremy Brown. He has a lot of respect for that senior.
Jeffrey Norris has the SEC championship hat on. Congratulations to the Crimson Tide. Alabama goes to 48-13. South Carolina falls to 48-14. These two teams battle it out all season long for the SEC regular season crown. An amazing run. But Alabama faltered at LSU in the final weekend, but South Carolina got healthy at Georgia, sweeping the Dogs, and that's how the Gamecocks won the regular season championship. And with all that's happened to Alabama the last 18 months or so, this has got to be a bright spot for the Crimson Tide. Their basketball team had great success. Their baseball team has great success. And there's the tournament championship trophy that Commissioner Roy Kramer will hand out in a matter of moments. Jim Wells wearing the 17 jersey. There's the commissioner. Had a long conversation with him yesterday, which you could see on SEC TV. A little bit of it this Thursday and full coverage of it. Our final show on June 6th. Well, the tournament MVP is alongside down by the Alabama dugout. Brent Boyd and Brent, Dave Neal here with you, along with Larry Conley. I got to tell you, it seems like you've been at Alabama for a long time.
I have. It seems like I've been here a lifetime. But it's
how
good,
sweet is this?
It's a good way to go out, I'll tell you what.
In terms of this game and what happened last night, did you guys feel like this was going to be your tournament to win after the way you captured the game last night?
Well, I knew coming off the floor to win that this team had a lot of emotion and a lot of it carrying over to the way it was going to go, and the way this game carried out. We just rode on emotion and played our hearts out.
Brent, you had such a terrific tournament. I mean, you came into this game hitting 284 for the year, but you ended up hitting 500 for the tournament. What turned you around?
A lot of hitting with Coach Wells and Coach Watkins, and we sat down and said some things have got to change for us to be successful. And with me putting, put behind Jeremy and Scott, they're going to pitch around them all year, and if we were going to be successful, I was going to have to come through.
All right, well, guess what, Brent? You got to go get your MVP trophy. Congratulations. Nice job.
Thank you very much.
All right, Brent Boyd joining us. And now time for the commissioner to hand his club the trophy.
The head coach, Jim Wells, and the University of Alabama.
Jeremy Brown. I don't think he's going to take that gear off. Scott McClanahan out there as well.
Brent Boyd coming over. Also Lance Cormier a part of that.
Alabama now 6-0 in championship games. We will come back to Hoover Metropolitan Stadium with some more of our activities. Alabama wins the title. Stay with us here on SEC TV.
Came out and you won all three of those games. You had a win against Kentucky, a win against Ole Miss, and now a win against South Carolina. What was it today that made you so successful?
I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that we jumped on the scoreboard early, and that always helps. It helps me to be able to just sit back and pitch. I was able to locate my pitches today. Mostly my fastball and curveball, and some great plays behind me. McClanahan early, and started there and then ended with Stoner's playing right. So I have to give it to those guys too.
Jeffrey, you take a couple of years off. Your story has been talked about. We featured you on our weekly show about taking a couple of years off, and you weren't sure how far baseball could go, if you could get back to this level. How rewarding is it to go out and take the ball on a day like today in front of 13,000, and you're just a few miles from your home? How special is this?
It's really a blessing from God, because there are times where it was difficult and I didn't think I could do it, but with the help of my wife and my dad and my other family members, it helped me to be able to stick to it, and it's very rewarding. It's a lot of fun. It's great to play with this team and the coaches, and it's just very rewarding. There are no words to describe it.
Well, I'll tell you what, Jeffrey, go join your club, and great performance today. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Jeffrey Norris, complete game effort as Alabama wins it 6-2. There they are, the Crimson Tide team, your 2002 SEC Tournament champions and your Western Division champs as well. We'll come back, put a wrap on this week and the season when we come back. Carolina makes it to their first tournament championship game in the school's history since they joined the SEC back in 1992, but they fell short today as Alabama is now a perfect 6-for-6 in tournament championship games, capturing their 6th SEC tournament crown. Hoover Metropolitan Stadium emptying out right now as Alabama celebrates their first title in the tournament since 1999, and now they are awaiting the NCAA tournament announcements. Dave Neal back alongside Larry Conley. Larry, one of those years, you never know what you're going to get when you go do live sporting events, but you and I really caught a break. I think we should give our money back. Actually, you probably won't, and I don't think I will, but nonetheless.
I know you won't.
What a year. What a season. Can you wrap it up in your thoughts on what it was like this year?
I think in a lot of respects, when I look back on this Southeastern Conference baseball season, I think about great defensive plays. I think some of the pitching performances we had a chance to witness. Not so much the offense, because while the offense was a big story in the SEC this year, it seemed like every time we did a game, it was the pitching that dominated. So what we gave you was a lot of good baseball. We saw good pitching, we saw good defense, and what we saw this week, I think, were 4 good teams that got into the semifinals, and yesterday was an outstanding day of baseball for anyone who liked college baseball. And what we saw today were 2 teams that I think are going to go very far in the NCAA tournament.
Well, the Southeastern Conference has the number 2 ranked team in the country in South Carolina. There are 4 teams ranked in the top 12. How many teams will get to the NCAA tournament? We'll find out tomorrow right around lunchtime. Hopefully SEC can get as many as 8 in. They did it last year. We'll see what will happen here. But certainly a SEC tournament to remember for a long time, with over 120,000 fans coming through the turnstiles. An amazing season. Well, as we say goodbye for the 2002 season, we will leave you with these thoughts and memories of some great baseball. So for Larry Conley, I'm Dave Neal. So long, everybody. We'll see you down the road.
Teams. They cheer